Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
There we go. Hi, guys. There we go. All right, let's start. All right, so the CDC was wrong. At least they admit it. I wonder if the liberals will be, but I doubt that shit. The CDC fell to political wins. Instead of serving the people, they became games and spins. They did what was easy, not what was right. They caused a divide and a great fight. Who was wrong and who was right? Who cares? Just fix it and stay out of sight. You're not an elected official and you don't represent me. Shut your pie hole, do your jobs because you don't do it for free. You get a great sum to keep the people safe. Now you're blaming it on process. You make my balls chafe. Fix your house or someone else will. Don't tell me to get a shot or take another pill. We can't trust you. You're not a political tool. Even if you're not, I won't be made a fool. Take a chance on your word after getting so much wrong? You caused nothing but chaos in this country for far too long. Welcome to Divided We Stand. I am Jim Battisti. My co-host Joe Aguirre is not here, as you can see. So this will be my first solo episode. I want to start out, and we got to get an update on the Joe Biden gaffe count. So, Joe, where are we at?
Somewhere between 700 billion and $1,300 billion.
All right, I just had to play that. That always makes me laugh. All right, so let's get into this CDC steaming pile of crap that we need to unravel here. The CDC director, Rochelle Walensky, I think, admitted the CDC mishandled the COVID response. Most of us knew that already. She says that the problem with the CDC, it was a procedural problem in the CDC. No, ma'am, it's a leadership problem. That's an easy call for any of us to make. So the question now is, the CDC political? Of course it is. Even if it tried to stay out of it, even if it was not trying to be political, both political parties brought them into it. They are now in the fold. So step number one to fixing this is getting them out of the political process, or getting them out of the political crosshairs, which we will talk about here in a second. All right. This country has never been more divided right now between, for the past 3 years, all you heard about was the vaxxed, unvaxxed, the masked, unmasked. And it come to find out it was all for naught, really. The CDC, the CDC changed their verbiage from aerosol to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Droplets, really. I'm going to dumb it down here. It went from aerosol to airborne. So the difference is aerosol means it can stick and linger in the air for X number of time. Hence the masks, hence the social distancing, hence, all the safety procedures that we put in place for years. Well, they changed it to airborne, which now means an airborne thing can be a droplet that's thrown through the air, which they are now describing as the main way that you contracted this. You would, just like the flu, right? If you sneeze in your hand and it got on a surface and you touched that mucus and stuff like that, that's how you contracted it. So there's a huge difference, right? There's a very, very big difference between airborne and aerosol, right? And it might not sound different, but think of the implications that it had. If we treated it like a very, very extreme case of the flu and having the same way to contract it as we did the flu, kids would have never been out of school. They would never have had a social distance. They could have still worn masks, and the masks aren't a bad thing, right? The number of flu cases almost, disappeared in the past 2 years because people wore masks, people socially distanced, people washed their hands. But, besides taking down those kind of illnesses and whatnot and downplaying COVID, not downplaying COVID, excuse me, was it worth it considering the mental health implications that it's had on our children? Is it worth it knowing that our kids now don't even rank in the top 30 in math and science around the world? Was it worth it to have these guys even further back in their education as they are now? I don't know. Somebody can write in and tell me if it was worth it. I would be more than happy to hear it. I would love it, actually, to find out if anything was worth it. So, trusting the CDC, we're going to go ahead and talk about monkeypox a little bit. There she is. There is Malinsky, the head of the CDC. She's the one that made a lot of the decisions during the pandemic. She's the one that also made the decision when it came to monkeypox, which I think right now is the bigger deal. And I'll explain why. They straight up lied. They straight up lied and said it was an airborne infection, right? An airborne virus, which you can catch through droplets, that you can catch through sneezes, that you can catch through hugs, that you can catch, kisses, right? So they sent out all this guidance on monkeypox, how to be safe for it, and they lied. New studies have come out. Well, not new, I don't want to say new because they weren't new, right? Out of the number of cases in the United States, all the contracted cases, 95% of them were contracted via sexual intercourse through gay men. Now, this isn't I'm not going to make this a plight on gay people. This isn't a gay whatever. I'm not making it a gay cause. What I'm saying here is the CDC lied. And I'm actually pro-gay right now, saying, well, I'm always pro-gay, but think about all the gay men that contracted this virus because the CDC lied. If they came right out and said, look, guys, this is mainly a virus that is contracted through intercourse in gay men, I think a lot more gay men would have been like, all right, maybe we need to take this seriously, not have sex, and put a pause on that for right now until we can figure out what's going on. And that probably would have saved a crap ton of people. That probably would have got, people that contracted monkeypox probably would not have. So The credibility of the CDC is absolutely shot. It's gone out the window. You can't tell me anything. You can't tell me to mask up, to socially distance. You can't tell me not to cough, all right? You made a decision to stay out of political crosshairs because you felt like you were going to be in political crosshairs, making it the whole gay, contracted through gay sex. So you were afraid of that. So you straight up lied. And gay people have contracted this virus, monkeypox, didn't have to. Did not have to. And that's on you guys. Now, here's the biggest problem that I see with the CDC and this whole thing going on right now. The CDC is not an elected position. Even if the American people wanted to get rid of these guys, you can't vote them out. You can't. They're an appointee by the president, and these people are not going to be held accountable for any of this. Any of it. None. That is the biggest problem to me, that lives were put in danger. Mental health issues are now rampant in our young children. Learning has been curbed. It's just one mess after another when it comes to the CDC. And it's like, all right, we're just going to do some restructuring. I think that's actually the words that she used, restructuring. I don't know. But what in the actual F? Overhaul? They need to do a major overhaul. That's what it was, overhaul. Yeah, I think you do starting from the top, right? All these decisions come from the top. People on the ground, they don't make decisions. They're not the generals. They're the lance corporals. They're the private first class that do all the grunt work, and the people at the top make all the decisions. So the overhaul needs to come with getting rid of the people at the top. That's just my not so humble opinion. All right. There's something else that I wanted to talk about. The timing, right? The timing of this decision to say that they're wrong. Everything is going to be fine. This close to an election is kind of fishy to me, because it's not like they didn't have this information 6 months ago. They did. And if you go and read the New York Post, they'll tell you. They're waited till now, in my opinion. They waited till now because you're going to start seeing ads. You're going to start seeing Democratic candidates stand up there and say, we're getting back to a life of normal. Look what we've done. We've come so far. We implemented this, blah, blah, blah. Right? That I firmly believe this is what you're going to start seeing on your television. And if that's the case, it is hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, the CDC has absolutely become 100% political. Like, you can't deny it. There is no denying that this whatever her name is just a political pundit at this point. Right? So the CDC right now is a joke. Nobody trusts the CDC. The timing of it is fishy. And I think another reason that they could do it now is to get attention off of this awful, awful bill, right? This bill is the worst named bill. It does absolutely nothing for inflation. Again, I don't want to talk about this. Again, we talked about it last week. I just quick summary here. $375 million going into solar panels and wind turbines, electric car batteries that are all made in China, that create more pollution creating all these things than we do saving. So it's a net loss. It's a net loss for the environment. I'm just letting everybody know, do the math, look at the science. It's a net loss. We save, X number of carbon that's in the air. They just put more in it by making what you're using to take pollutants out. It makes no sense that you're at a net loss. This bill does nothing to help the inflation. It helps promote China industry more than it does anything here in the United States. All right. The bill is absolutely crap. Again, There's subsidies and there's tax benefits for people that can buy electric cars. There's not a lot of like electric cars are starting to, all cars right now are expensive. But if you look at a Tesla, right, people that make $50,000 a year or less can't afford electric cars. They can't afford the installation of it. They can't afford the electricity to charge these cars, right? They can't afford all of that plus food to get a $1,200 tax penny, right? 55% of the people of the United States make $50,000 or less. Over half of the people can't enjoy this. So who's this bill really helping? It's helping the rich. It's helping those people that make over $400,000. They can just blow money on cars like that and not worry about it, right? So there's that. That's absolutely useless in the Inflation Reduction Act. And then there's also the tax pennies, or not the tax pennies, excuse me, the corporation tax hike of 15%. So the only reason why I started bringing this all up is because what I saw in the news this morning, and I watched an oil company CEO come right out and tell everybody, gas is going back up. I mean, they're going to tax these billion-dollar corporations, which oil companies are one. They're going to tax these corporations up to, 15%. They're not going to lose that money, guys. They don't want to lose that money. And he's saying this. He said it out loud. We're going to make that money up somewhere. It's going to get passed down to the consumer. That's us. This doesn't help anybody in the middle class. This doesn't help anybody in the lower classes. It hurts us even more. Like I don't understand what these people are thinking. Like, I knew this. I'm pretty much sure I called this weeks ago, right? And then the new 87,000 IRS agents going after these billion-dollar companies and going after these millionaires and billionaires. Well, I got news for everybody. Those people can afford tax lawyers. I can't, right? And a former IRS agent came right out and said it. The majorities of audits during, the past 15 years have been to old people. Why? Because it's low-hanging fruit. It's easy. They're going to go get their money where it's easy. They don't want a 5-year legal battle with Bill Gates's team or Zuckerberg's team. And I say team because they have teams of lawyers, right? Jeff Bezos isn't going to freaking worry about an audit, right? He'll have 15 lawyers tying up that freaking work for 20 years. It's not going to happen, guys. We're the only ones that are going to get hurt by this. We're the only ones. And people are starting to realize like more news is coming out about this, right? People are starting to wake up and see what's actually in the bill. So again, now the CDC changes their entire stance on COVID, on monkeypox, saying that they were absolutely wrong during it multiple times. They were too slow with the information. The process was messed up in their office. Updated numbers were put on a desk and just left there, so they couldn't find them and ran with the old ones. Come on. Does anybody really believe that? Give me a break. So this is just a distraction. This is a distraction from the awful policies that the Biden administration is handing out right now. They were hoping that this Inflation Reduction Act was going to be a win. People are realizing it's not. It's absolutely useless. It's not going to help anybody in the near midterm. I would venture to say, the short long term, it's not going to help anybody, right? People aren't going to see benefits for Medicare for at least 5 years, right? No Medicare benefits is going to go through for at least 5 years. And by the way, if Medicare is allowed, which they're allowed to negotiate drug prices now, and they lower all the drug prices for all the Medicare patients, the drug companies are going to make that up. They're not going to want to lose that money. So guess who else's drug prices are getting raised? Everybody else who isn't on Medicare. It's only logical. I'm not making this crap up. I'm not pulling it out of the air. Think about it. They're going to rob Peter to pay Paul. Guess what? We're Paul. We're Peter. We're getting robbed. They're still going to line their pockets, guys. Capitalism is always going to win. That cost is going to get made up somewhere. And it's not the ultra rich. It's not Jeff Bezos buying everybody else freaking medication. It's just not. It's going to get made up. You don't see Bill Gates standing at gas pumps filling up everybody's tanks. It's going to get made up by our pockets. And I think people are starting to realize this. And I think that's why we're using the CDC now as a distraction from all these awful, just awful, god-awful policies, right? So let's move on to another topic real quick here, because I thought this was kind of interesting. All right, everybody should know by now who this lady is. Well, if you don't know who that is, that's Liz Cheney. And quite honestly, you really don't need to know who she is anymore. Her political career is done. And it is done. And I'm not saying that it's because of Trump. I'm not. I'm saying it's because of her, right? And well, let me start over. Does anybody actually think she wanted to win in Wyoming? Actually, she raised over $30 million in campaign funds. She spent half of that. She only spent half in Wyoming. Why would she save it? If she wanted the big run in Wyoming, she could have spent it all. She could have spent all 30 million, had more ads out there, had more signs, had more whatever. She didn't want to win. She knew she was going to lose. She didn't even try. She spent $15 million for nothing of your money, by the way, that you donated for nothing. She's going to make a friggin' run for the presidency. And that is just absolutely ridiculous. If anybody out there thinks that she can win in the primary, let alone an election, let me know. All right. Bring in a comment, do something, text me. I don't care. All right. She was ousted of Wyoming. She was clobbered. It wasn't even close, right? It wasn't even close how bad she just got clobbered in Wyoming. Like, she's done. She's not going to win the primary, right? At best, Liz Cheney is going out there to spend $15 million on a presidential run to be a thorn in Donald Trump's side. And that's it, right? That's all it is. Why? I don't know. But she's not going to win, right? She's not going to win against Trump. She won't win against this guy either. She can't beat DeSantis in a primary. She can't beat Trump in a primary. I doubt she would even beat Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, those kind of guys in a primary. So why is she doing this, right? That's the true question. Why? Well, I think she got bamboozled. I really do. I think the Democrats used her, bamboozled her to spearhead this whole Trump thing so it doesn't look like it's non-bipartisan, which it's not technically. And she got caught up in the Trump mania. She did. She jumped on that anti-Trump bandwagon and hoped it would lead her to victory. And the Democrats pumped her up with this idea, right? So why wouldn't she think she can make a run, right? She's got the support of the Democrats, and then, that's hysterical to me if she thinks this. And if she actually thought that, then she doesn't deserve to be in the Senate or in the Congress, in any form of government, right? Does she actually think that any Democrat was going to support her in a presidential election? No, she was going to get 0 votes. She was going to get 0 support from anybody else in government on the Democratic side. 0. Because she was still going to run on the Republican ticket. Did she think she was going to get some of those votes? Did she think she was going to win some of those? Like the John McCain fatal mistake. He was like, oh no, I'll just win over all the independents and the moderate Democrats. No, you're not. No, you didn't. He didn't win any, and neither will Liz Cheney. So why is she doing this? No idea. But my prediction is simple. Her political career is just absolutely done. She won't have another run at all. I mean, she might run again in Wyoming after 2024, but she won't win. Right? She's absolutely delusional if she thinks she's going to win. She's absolutely delusional if she thinks any of the Democrats are going to friggin' help her out. Like, there's just no way. Like, I don't understand what she was thinking. I really don't. You know what? She might have been able to pull it out in Wyoming. She could have kept her seat. She could have been okay, but she didn't want to. So she wants to make that run for the presidency. I don't know, guys. Somebody needs to tell me why or what she was thinking. All right. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, Joe's can't do it. Sorry, guys.
We can expect another wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you don't have your home serviced for mosquito control and you find you're spending most of your outside time swatting those little pests, or you did have your yard sprayed but you still have bites all over your body, you're in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. All mosquito control service is not the same. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program. You can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. The promise has awarded them an industry-leading customer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCNCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of the summer mosquito-free.
All right. Normally, this is Joe's segment, and I got to tell you, I really miss him. So let's see. Today, I haven't heard any of the results yet, but today a federal judge weighed in. Let's see here. Weighed whether to unseal the affidavit of the Mar-a-Lago raid. Decided to. It doesn't say whether it was updated or not. Documents could be held back like legal. All right. So we don't know what's happening yet with the Mar-a-Lago raid affidavit. We know already there was an admission by Merrick Garland that they overstepped the bounds of the search warrant. So I want to weigh in just a little bit on this, right? Like, I had a secret clearance when I was in the military. I understand the importance. I have friends that are still working with classified top secret materials. And I understand the importance of keeping these sealed, locked, safe, right? There truly is information out there that we don't want anybody to get, especially our enemies. It's very easy nowadays, and people need to remember this. It's not hard for a document to get online now. Like, somebody obviously leaked this to the FBI from the Mar-a-Lago. Apparently, this is what's being said from the Mar-a-Lago compound. They were leaking information about this. So it's not going to be hard for a document that's ultra classified, that has some top secret material, to get out on the internet. And once it's out on the internet, it'll be like a half a second before our enemies have it. So it's extremely important to ensure that these documents, that these papers, that these files that are classified, that are top secret, they need to be secured. Right now, in my opinion, there's no difference between Mar-a-Lago and Clinton servers. Neither one of them are secure enough for those kind of materials. So I believe that Trump is just in the wrong, as Hillary Clinton is. Now, it could come out that Trump did declassify all these documents before he left. I doubt it, but we'll see what happens, right? Like, I don't pass judgment on anything until all the facts are out and all the evidence are out. But I really did want to see if the judge weighed in yet, because I think the hearing started at 1 o'clock today. So I don't see any kind of ruling yet on it. So we'll keep you posted as soon as I hear something, and then maybe it'll come in here within the next couple minutes. I doubt it, but yeah. So nothing on that yet. All right. So we're now. I want to talk about. I want to talk about the border a little bit here, guys. I don't like keep bringing up the border, but I think it needs to be said. Another 18-wheeler full of people was caught today, was found today. I mean, I'm trying to think. I can't remember exact number of people. I think it was 140 people stuffed in the back of this box, the semi trailer. That's 140 people that could have died extremely easily with heat exhaustion. I saw pictures today of people crossing a river. They're grabbing onto a rope for dear life down in the Eagle Pass area in Texas. One of them was grabbing on for dear life, crossing these high current river, holding a baby. I mean, everybody screamed about Trump separating kids and parents, and they were right to do so. I will note that the cages that they did it in were built by Obama. Obama used them first by separating kids when they were having their border crisis. But Trump did it as well, and it wasn't good for anybody. It shouldn't have happened at all. But the chances of those kids dying in those cages were none. You didn't hear it. Trust me, if they did, you would have heard all about it. The chances of these children dying on this journey across the border, across the river, across the desert, it's high. It's high. And in my opinion, the federal government, one of their top jobs is to preserve life. And they're not doing that at the border. Let's take away all the immigration laws. Let's take away all the border laws. Let's take away all the races. Let's take away all the numbers, right? Let's take away all that away. If their main job was to protect people, they failed. Protect life. They're failing at the border. People are dying, coming across. People are drowning. We had an American service member drown trying to save people. The federal government, whether you like immigration, don't like immigration, whatever, the federal government in their duty to preserve life is absolutely failing. They're absolutely failing. Now, I have theories why. If people don't know, resolutions are numbered from the most important to the least important. So when Biden took office, they had a resolution called H.R. 1, House Resolution 1, the most important thing on their agenda. Excuse me. If you go out online, you can find H.R. 1, and it was never passed, thank God. But if you read into it, you'll understand what's going on at the border. The number one important issue in H.R. 1 was allowing illegal immigrants the right to vote. They allowed convicted felons or the right to vote, illegal immigrants the right to vote. Now, why would anybody do that? Why? I mean, that doesn't hold well. I don't think that holds well with any American across the board. So why would the Democrats do that? Why would this be the most important thing on their agenda while taking office? Could it be to maintain office? So this is what happens. This is why I don't understand why Mayor Adams and Bowser in D.C. are like up in arms about this. They declared themselves a sanctuary city. They have all this money to give out, apparently, and but they're complaining. So they shouldn't be, and neither should the Republicans, and I'll explain why later. But the Democrats are doing this for one reason. They bring people across the border, right? And then they're like, oh, shit, you need services. Well, we're going to give you services. We're going to give you welfare. We're going to give you WIC. We're going to give you food stamps. We're going to give you all this other aid. You don't have to work as long as you keep voting for us. It's a simple way to buy votes there, people. You're importing votes. You're getting them hooked on welfare. You're creating a permanent lower class for some reason, which doesn't help anybody. I don't understand. I mean, let's make no mistake about it here. This is what they're doing. They're definitely creating a class, a permanent class of impoverished people. If you look at everything that they've done, you can't come up with any other conclusion. But the border especially, you are putting so much strain on services Now it's spreading to New York, it's spreading to Washington, D.C., and it's going to continue to spread throughout the entire country when these people start to get displaced, when these people find family in other states, right? It's going to happen. 2 million people this year, 1.7 million last year. The estimated finish of this fiscal year should be around 2.3, 2.4 million people. That we're closing in on the 5 million people mark in 2 years, excuse me. We're getting there. We're at 4.3 right now at the end of this fiscal year. I mean, do we have the services? Does Texas have the services for these people? Not just, welfare and that kind of services, unemployment, etc. I'm talking hospital services, food. Do they have enough food services being shipped into these towns down in Texas to support these people? Do they have enough police and fire to help these people? Do they have enough EMS to help all these people? There's so many other things that go into it other than, yeah, they're Mexican, or yeah, they're Hispanic, or yeah, they're this or that. So much more goes into it. Right. And this is what people need to think about. Don't think about it as race, because, and I got to tell you, no, again, I'm not going to die on my sword and saying Greg Abbott is not somewhat racist. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he isn't. But he hasn't said anything racist about these people. He keeps complaining about the services that they're just getting crushed in Texas. Texas is paying a huge price. Huge. And we need to think about all that. Right. The people are dying. The people in Texas are just going without because there's just not enough to go around. Like, this is crazy. So I heard on the news today that for all the talk of the source of the problem being the triangle countries, right? 2 of the presidents of the triangle countries have said they've never talked to anybody from this administration. Now, I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to try to verify. I heard it on the news today. I got to go verify it, but I'm going to say it. And if that's the truth, if that comes back verified, then your government has been just straight lying to you since the day they took office. They didn't go even down to the triangle countries. Nobody's even talked to the administration, but they said they did. They said they've been in meetings with these people. So what's true? What's not true? Well, look with your own eyes, everyone. 4 million people have come across the border in the past 2 years, and this year isn't even over yet. They're not doing anything to curb it. They're not doing anything to slow it down. They're not addressing any problems because to them, it's not a problem, right? It's just not a problem for them. And I, for one, can't understand. I cannot understand why our government would allow all these immigrants. Not that that's a bad thing. Immigrants aren't a bad thing. Immigration isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying that. But we're not set up for 4 million more people right now. We're just not. 4 million people in 2 years, adults, grown men, grown women, single adults, which we were told wasn't going to happen, but it's happening. I don't know. I don't know why the lies are so rampant, but they are, right? So I want to wind down the show a little bit here and talk about just good versus bad for a little while. And I want to turn everybody's attention to this thing called the shopping cart study. I love this study. I'm going to find out who it's by here. Shopping cart study theory. It basically tells you can find out what kind of a community you live in by going to the grocery store, going to a local Walmart, going to Target or wherever, right? Piggly Wiggly. I was just down in South Carolina a couple of weeks ago. They got a Piggly Wiggly. Nobody up north has a Piggly Wiggly. People from up here probably don't even know what that is. But it basically says this. You can tell the moral fabric of a community by people putting their shopping carts away. because they care about, they look out for everybody else in that community. They don't want anybody else's car to get hit, so they put their card away. I live in the state of Connecticut, the great state of Connecticut. You go to any store, any shopping plaza, anywhere in Connecticut, you're taking your car, you're risking your car at your own hands, right? There's a million shopping carts left all over the place. Nobody puts their shopping carts away, right? Nobody does that crap. I don't get it. You people here just don't care, right? They don't care about anybody else. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we need to sit back and we need to actually look what's going on in politics. Look at the policies and the procedures that are being put in place. For example, the new gun law, right? Experts have told us that new gun law is not going to do a damn thing. It's not. They just passed a law, said they're doing new gun laws and gun reform and blah, 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 but it's not going to help anything. They don't care. They're just doing this to placate to certain people. They're doing it for votes. They don't really care. Look at this Inflation Reduction Act. $375 billion to China, but nothing that's actually going to go to the American people. Nothing that actually helps the $50,000 or less crowd, which is the majority of this country. They don't care. They're placating. They're telling you they're doing things for you, but if you don't stop and really look around, you're going to get hit in the face with a shopping cart. I don't know what else to tell you. These people are not good. If you actually look at their voting records, if you actually look at the policies that they've put forth in the Congress, because it's all out on they all have web pages. They all have all their stuff out there. You can look it up online. Every voting record is out there. Every bill that they've brought forward is out there. If you actually delve into this, I promise you, I almost guarantee you, half of Congress, half of the Senate would be gone. They'd be gone because we would no longer vote all these people in that do nothing except collect money. They've done absolutely nothing with billions and billions and billions of dollars of our tax dollars. They've done nothing. They haven't stopped the war on drugs, right? They haven't bridged equality according to them. They haven't stopped racism. They haven't made women's rights any better. They haven't done anything with billions and billions and billions of dollars of our taxpayer dollars. So again, please do your research. Do not vote for Dickie Blumenthal here in Connecticut just because you recognize his name. Do not vote for him without knowing that he gave the keynote address speech at a Connecticut Communist Party dinner. Like, people, if you don't know that, why, if you're opposed to that, why would you vote for that? Why would you vote for a man that supports the Connecticut Communist Party? Like, really? Like, every Republican out there, every conservative, well, no, that means, I don't want to say that. Every far right-wing conservative out there is saying that we're moving into a democratic, a communist state. We're going to be socialist. We're going to be communist, socialism, whatever. But then you go give the keynote address at the Communist Party dinner and not expect them to say, what? I don't know, that you're not? Like, hey, by the way, I actually did serve in a war, unlike Senator Blumenthal, who had to lie about it. I don't have to. I'm not telling you to vote for me. You can write me in if you want. By all means, write me in. But we do need to get these freaking gas bags out of here. We do need a change in the guard. We got to, and the only way we do that is through education, right? We got to take our time. We got to actually look at who we want to vote for and why, not just because we know their name. It's time that this country take itself back And that starts with individual responsibility, right? So you got until November. You got it from now until November. Look at the candidates in your region. Look at the candidates in your area. I don't care if it's for local, state, federal. Look who you're electing. Think about who it is. Put some thought behind it. And I promise you, we can actually make a difference. This is when voting can actually make a difference. If we just vote to vote, who cares? You're not doing anybody any service by voting for somebody that you think you know. If you know him and he's a great guy and you want to support him, by all means, vote, right? I'm always big on voting. I think it's an absolute responsibility of every American citizen, but I'm going to tweak my comments about that and be like, and say that it's an absolute responsibility for everybody to find the best qualified candidate to vote for. All right. So without Joe's 2 minutes of crap, I'm going to go ahead and end this segment a little bit early tonight, this episode. Thank you very much for stopping by and listening. Thank you very much to our sponsors. I truly appreciate everybody coming out. Shoot me an email, text, and let me know what you think. All right, guys. For Divided We Stand, I am Jim Battisti saying good night and God bless.